Hello, hello, my lovely people. Hello, hello. Just joining the Instagram live. So if I'm looking both cameras, please forgive me. We will talk about childhood trauma, and I'm a little bit sick, so please forgive me for the voice, right? But how to heal childhood trauma? Probably every psychologist is talking about that these days, right? And probably gave you so many different advices, but I will talk today about things that actually block us from healing. Before we start to go into ways how to heal childhood trauma, it's really important to understand what blocks us, what is on the way of us actually healing that trauma. And some people believe it's years, some people believe it's months, some people believe it's never going to happen. If you believe it's never going to happen, then yes, it's never going to happen, because everything happens to the way how we believe it's going to be, right? Our belief makes our reality. This is the rule of our subconscious mind. And subconscious mind is 95%, as you know. So let's talk about three things that you need to know, you need to have in order to heal childhood trauma of any severity. For example, if you have severe childhood adversity, some horrible things that happen to you, right? Or you have just some limiting beliefs that you formed, but you still believe that you had a pretty good childhood, but still something holds you back. Either it's a money block, a procrastination, self-sabotage, whatever it is, right? It's really important to understand how to heal that, how to heal whatever happened to us in childhood and why we carry that. How many people hold it in, and how many people actually let it out, why some people have physical symptoms of childhood trauma and some people have mental symptoms, right? Psychological, emotional symptoms. Have you noticed sometimes people do seem like they are okay, right? But their body is giving out all of the symptoms. Some people will have physical symptoms, some people will have emotional symptoms of anything that they hold in, and it just depends on their perception and their beliefs, right? So for example, if people for example avoid, numb it, or shut down the past experience, past memories, they don't really look there, they don't want to look there, they will look okay, right? They will go to work, they will function, achieve goals, they will seem pretty happy. However, the body will give away the symptoms. If people, right, actually are very emotional, they do express their feelings, they do acknowledge, they might have even physical psychological symptoms, right? They will have anxiety, right? Because they don't shut it down, they express it. So that's also possible. Three things that you need to have in order to heal the childhood trauma. I cannot go into how to do that before I go into these three things. First is an open mind. What does this mean, open mind? Open mind means that you don't stick to one opinion, like you don't stick to one belief, right? So, for example, I believe that only doctors can help me, or actually, doctors cannot help me ever. Only, alternative medicine can help me. And if you have that rigid thinking that only one thing can help you, or you have a strong belief about childhood trauma, whether it can be healed or it cannot be healed, whether you can find freedom or you can liberate yourself or not, depending on that will kind of show whether you will actually heal it or not. Open mind means that you don't reject any idea. It doesn't mean that you have to follow that idea, but you don't reject it. For example, I was at the expo last weekend, and there was this beautiful girl. She was dressed in this very colorful clothes, and she was a crystal reading, something very, like, I don't know, for me it's like magical. I don't know that yet, but I don't close my mind to it. She was very happy. And I could reject that. I could say, oh, this is woo woo or something like that, but I didn't. I was very curious, right? And I found a lot of interesting information. Does this mean that I will follow it? No. Maybe some, yes, but it was a very interesting experience in terms of opening your mind and being open to different methods. So this will help you if you want to heal childhood trauma, whether it's abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, whether it's a neglect of any type. It will depend on whether you have an open mind. So this is factor number one in healing childhood trauma, having an open mind. Sometimes we look at people who say, oh, I've addressed all of my past traumas and I'm okay now. And we start to calibrate. We start to calibrate with that person and we believe, oh, they did it in 1 year or 3 months. Then maybe it will be for me as well like that. It will be different for you. It could be 1 day, could be 10 years. No one knows because your life is so, so unique. Right? So factor number one is open mind. Another factor is consistency, right? Very often clients come to me and they say, I've tried everything. I have tried completely everything and nothing helped. I don't know if you hear me well. Do you hear me well? I hope so. Okay. So sometimes people do say that I've tried everything and nothing really helped. When you say that, it means that have you tried it for a consistent time? For example, for at least 3 weeks or even 4, 5, 6 weeks? I've tried Reiki healing and it didn't help me. I've tried hypnosis before, like self-hypnosis, and it didn't help, right? And I tried this and this. Everything requires consistency. For example, if people come to me, I give them the recording after the session because RTT, right, has this repetition. So you repeat the recording 15 minutes for 21 days before you program your mind after the shift was done. The understanding, you get the understanding from the session, a huge shift, but you want to make it permanent. So the recording, the self-hypnosis recording for 15 minutes every day will make the changes permanent. You reprogram your mind, you build new pathways. Another factor that you need to heal the childhood trauma is sampling. Sampling, like means trying things. Oh, sometimes we say, oh, that's not going to help. That's not going to help me. And I can totally understand because I've did the same and I was the same for many, many years. I couldn't believe that something that I don't want to let into my mind can help me, but it can, really. Everything will help. For somebody, it's a combination of these methods. For some other people, it's a combination of talk therapy and EMDR and medication maybe, right? For other people, it's hypnotherapy, it's Reiki healing, it's other types of healing, right? Craniosacral massage, access bars, so many different methods to really do help you in addressing the past from a safe place. And I also had lots of beliefs, right, about, for example, even the talk therapy, even the hypnotherapy, that it can re-traumatize. That if I look into my past, it can re-traumatize me. I don't want to go there. No one can ask you. No one can make you go there. Really, it's your choice, right? It's whether you like your life right now. Are you actually happy with your life? Are you content? Do you actually have this neutrality regarding anything that happens around you? This is the liberation, the freedom. You choose your reaction. You choose your reaction to any event that happens, right? Even the most horrible things that happen, you choose how you react. This is freedom. But in order to get it, you need to learn about your mind. You need to resolve the past, and then you will liberate yourself. Right? So 3 things: open mind, consistency, and sampling things. So these 3 things will help you to heal childhood trauma. It's like a beginning, like a foundation. So if someone doesn't know where to start, I know a lot of people who do want to address, but they don't know where to start. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. There is no wrong or right. Remember, for your soul, for your spirit, for everything that we shut down, right? The soul, there is no wrong or right. So what beliefs we can have that block us from healing childhood trauma? Sometimes we are ready, right? We are ready to like, have you ever had this moment when you asked yourself, why I still stuck in these patterns? Why I keep meeting people, why I keep surrounding myself with these type of people that actually don't bring value into my life? Why I cannot find a job that I want? All of these questions that we ask that start with why regarding our emotional or physical state, it means that it's just that you don't have that information yet. So the foundation I gave you, right? The foundation is open mind, consistency, and sampling. Don't be afraid to sample. You will regret the most when you're gonna grow up. You're gonna be 75, 85, and you will be, because you're gonna be healthy, you're gonna heal, right? A lot of things from your past. You're gonna be 75, and the only thing you will regret is that you didn't try, right? So please be open to sampling, be an observer, right? What beliefs hold us from healing childhood trauma? What beliefs, right? First, it's impossible. So it's a narrative from this pharmacology business, right? The traditional one. Say, I'm not against it, by the way, because I'm a hypnotherapist. Doesn't mean that I'm against the traditional healthcare system, right? Hypnotherapy goes alongside science, not against it. So if you feel like, oh, it's impossible, then yes, that's going to be a block. So can you imagine the conflict? So your logic says it's impossible. Like it's impossible, right? Your subconscious mind has these all like desires to heal it, right? Desires. And there is a conflict, or vice versa. Your logic wants to heal, and your subconscious mind holds the limiting beliefs, the logic, the conflict, and it just doesn't resolve. In the end, it just doesn't resolve. How many sessions do you bring to help health anxiety? I only recommend one session and 21 days of listening to the recording, right? Your an open mind to the hypnotherapy. RTT is a rapid method. It's not a talk therapy, right? It's not these kind of repeated sessions, right? So it's only one session. Then you decide after 21 days. Usually with health anxiety, it's fear of dying, right? Fear of losing the loved ones, attachment, right? um, you just started to leave, so maybe you have this fear that I don't know, I have so much to do. I cannot die now, right? If I die, what will happen? The fear, right? So that could help you. If I die, what would happen? And so that's you need to ask yourself that question. But usually I recommend one session for RTT method. RTT method is a rapid transformational therapy. It's a method that goes right to the root cause. Yes, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does help for even when you are pregnant or if you want to get pregnant. So I don't know if you are thinking about getting pregnant or oh, you booked a discovery call. Yeah, I would love to talk to you. I would love to chat. Let's chat and see how I can help you. Yeah, but please stay in this life just to maybe learn a little bit about that childhood trauma, right? Another belief that we have that holds us back from healing the childhood trauma is that the mind is too complicated. It's so complicated. The mind is so currently 26. Yeah, absolutely. It does. Yeah, it's a very safe method. You're not in a trance. You're not given any suggestions that you don't want, right? You're in a very light, relaxed state. You're going on a journey, right? And you actually reconnect with your little baby even more. If you have any issues, any fears regarding the delivery, the labor, right? Or anything that can happen to you or to the baby, right? That's what we want to resolve, right? So when I work with pregnant women, I usually put into the recording how amazing the connection it is, right? That they're super safe, right? In this, and we resolve, of course, the root cause of whatever anxiety you might have. Yeah. So it's too complicated. When we start to believe that mind is very complicated, that we shouldn't go there. It's just too much, it's too complicated. This is also the narrative from the pharmacology business. They don't want you to really resolve it without any medicated methods. Don't forget that it's money as well, right? And the drive is to help as well, but also a big chunk is money. So please be mindful of that. Sorry for my voice, right? It's too late. Sometimes we feel like we are at the age of 40, 50, and we believe that it's too late to heal the childhood trauma. It's never too late. It's never too late. Your soul, your spirit doesn't know time and age, right? So it's never too late. Never too late. And actually, for me, if someone told me that at 25, then yeah, hi, okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's hello, hello, hello. I hope I did it right. Julie's, I hope I did it right. I did get you into the accept. Okay, good. I think I did, but I'm not sure if I did. Right? Okay, anyway. So it's too late. It's never too late. Another belief: nothing helped. I've tried everything. When are you booking? Usually on the different days, right? On the different days. You can book it on my website. It's in the links in my description. Jalise, am I pronouncing it right? Please, right? Yeah, you can. Oh, okay, good. Yes, you can book it. You can book it absolutely from the link on my website. It's going to make it so much easier. You can see my schedule. And if there is a possibility to book the next day the appointment, we can book the next day the appointment. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Beautiful name. Beautiful. There is no hope for me. Another belief that we believe about childhood trauma is that there is no hope for me. There is no hope for me. My childhood was very, very adverse. It was horrible. It was terrible. No one can I cannot forgive. I cannot forget. I resented, and all of these feelings, right? They can block you from healing, right? Don't forget that your body and your mind is a self-regulating machine. It knows everything that you need for healing. It knows. Sometimes we do need help, by the way. Sometimes people ask me like, oh, I'm doing for example, energy healing, or I'm doing talk therapy, or I'm going to the gym and exercising and eating healthy, but I still cannot resolve this. You always need to look at the problem from different perspectives. Sometimes you need help of vitamins, sometimes supplements, sometimes other methods, right? So don't forget that your mind is so unique, so complete. So complete. Why we feel that there is something wrong with us? When we have childhood trauma, we always ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? It's because you lose little parts of you. You lose a little part of you in that 7-year-old child, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, whenever the trauma happened, or if it was consistent when it started, maybe from a very early age. So you need to really, get yourself back together. Get yourself back together. How you can do that? You need to reprocess the previous painful moments with the mind of an adult. This is what healing childhood trauma is. You look at the past event, for example, abuse. Let's say sexual abuse, right? You look at at that event from a safe place. That's what I do usually in RTT session, right? We don't re-traumatize, we don't relieve, right? We just review that. review the memory, and you change the perception, because you are now, hello, you are now, for example, 32 or 38 or 37, and you're looking at that memory from your mind, from your adult mind, and you change the perception. This is what healing is. Understanding, right? Realization, the light bulb moment, right? I'll really explain a little bit even more, right? When you are a child up to 16, I would say, up to 16 years old, when you are a child, um, your mind is very straightforward, like your perception is very straightforward. You don't accept any other options. And no one really tells us what's happening to us and that it's normal or not normal. So we form the beliefs that are like age appropriate, right? They're appropriate for a little girl. Sometimes I talk to my daughter and I tell her a phrase and she's like, Mom, I think this is what you mean. I was like, no, but this is not what I mean. And we start to talk, so she doesn't form the belief. It's very important, right? So she doesn't form the belief, the limiting belief. Because for her 13-year-old mind, if I say something, she's like, oh, you're criticizing me. And maybe it is, and I might not see it, but she has that perception. Whether it is true or not, it doesn't matter. She has the perception that I'm criticizing her, which means I did it in the past, which means she has a pattern already, and that belief is going to confirm. So when you're a child, you form the belief that no one needs me, I'm worthless, there is no place for me in this world. Is there any purpose to live if something happens to us? For example, sexual, verbal, or physical abuse, right? And you look at that and you are now 37 or 45. Your mind knows so much better, but your subconscious mind doesn't. Your subconscious mind is stuck in that 13 or 12-year-old girl or boy, right? It's stuck there in that child, and you still believe those beliefs. So that's why we get triggered. Sometimes we get triggered from loud voices, people arguing or having conflict because it happened in the past. So your mind doesn't know time. So every time you hear loud voice, even if it's just your partner, right, expressing something, or maybe you'll have an argument and they are raising their voice, you get triggered. And because the mind doesn't know time, so it just keeps you triggering you, just like it's happening today, like it's happening now, right? So also there is one more belief that that happens. For example, the belief that blocks us from healing the childhood trauma, and it is you have to be born and raised in a happy family to be lucky and to have a happy life. Otherwise, it's just me. This is my life. I have to accept it. For most of the people, this is how it happens. We accept, but not the spiritual acceptance, but this kind of acceptance, like, okay, well, that I'll just have to live with it. You don't have to live with it, right? You need to really uncover, unresolve it, and look at it from the mind of your present self, right? This is what's going to change. This is what's going to change. The healing childhood trauma is looking and understanding those events, and then the letting go happens, and then the forgiveness happens, and then maybe expressing the anger. I've had sessions where people were so angry. They came and they said, everything's fine. I just have these, anxiety, right? But then when we go into the session, they start to curse, scream, yell, because the anger, the 30-year-old anger, right, is just expressing so much. And that's completely fine, right? It is completely fine. And it just liberates them so much. So I hope that's clear. Life is unfair. How often do we say that to ourselves? Oh, this is so unfair. Life is so unfair. Some get it better, some people get it worse, right? We sometimes ask ourselves those questions. But the reality is, you make it. You make luck. We don't get luck. You make luck. Whatever happened to you, you can make it so much better than what was done to you. And that's the purpose of life. Don't forget about it. I probably say that in almost every life. Don't forget that you can make it better than what was done to you. This is our purpose. And you can make it so much more beautiful. Trust me. Trust me, I've seen people in my life, almost every client that I have heals some past unresolved wounds, traumatic experiences, right? And they make it beautiful. They make their life beautiful. It's not easy, it's not, but it's beautiful, right? So how to heal childhood trauma. Let's get now that you know all these limiting beliefs that you need to work through, by the way, right? Once you work through a limiting belief, that's it. You open the door. You open the door to healing. And it can happen in 5 minutes, or it can happen in 5 years. I don't know, or maybe never. That's also possible. But since you're watching this live, then probably you do want to heal it. So let's start. The first step that you need to do is stop being afraid of your past. If you have a childhood limiting belief, some unresolved, maybe one of your parents left family, right? And you never resolved that issue. Maybe narcissistic parents, maybe abuse, right? Don't be afraid to look into that. Don't be afraid to look into your past, to go on that journey. It's your best journey you will ever do. This is the best thing you can do for yourself, is to go back, to look at it, and to resolve it, to make peace with it. So the first step you can do, once you open the door to healing, you say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I want it. I have been waiting for it, right? I cannot live like that anymore. Why people come to heal any childhood wounds, so they start to do that, it's because they cannot live like that anymore. They are done. They're frustrated with being triggered and being in pain. The first one, right? You become curious. You become an observer. Become an observer. I am okay. Let's see. Let's see what's there. What's there? Because it's never gonna repeat. Right? We are afraid because we feel like, oh, it's like relieving it. No, it's never gonna repeat. With the right guidance, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. So work on all levels. Okay, this is really important. Work on all levels. So when you when you want to heal childhood trauma, whatever it is, whether it was criticism, judgment, manipulation, control, or it was physical abuse, right, or anger, or bullying, neglect, it'll work on all levels. So mind, body, right, spirit, even if just a little bit. You don't have to do it like an hour a day. No, even 10 minutes a day for each side of you, each part of you is okay, right? And environment. Look around yourself and look at the people who surround you. Who are they? Are they supporting, understanding? Are they going to be open to your feelings if you start to express them? Are they going to be understanding if you set the boundaries? Because when healing happens, we start to like want some time to ourselves, right? We want to be like, don't touch me. Don't come close to me. I need this time to heal. That happens as well, quite often. So what is your environment? This is another thing that you need to work on. Environment. To heal childhood trauma, we need to at least have some free time from triggers. So if parents, if you had narcissistic parents, you need to say them that you are going on a 3 months retreat and you won't have any connection. You're very, very busy. Remember, you're very calm, kind, and very, very busy. Always busy, right? So if you had, if your parents or your partner triggers you, right, that's completely fine, right? It happens. You're still healing, or you're just starting that journey, right? Say I need space. I need space. That's one of the things, right? Don't forget that you're not only working on your mind, you're always working on your body. What are you feeling when you're triggered? Where is this? For me, it's usually here. I have a lot of unexpressed anger, right? For whenever I get triggered, which happened today. Yeah, and I already felt the energy, the tension right here, because I have unexpressed anger, right? Something that I cannot express. So I had to go and really release it through energy work, screaming, singing, dancing, whatever it is, but just to help myself. So some people will feel it here. They feel like the electrical, this zits, I think, right? That's how it's called. I don't know, remind me. Maybe I'm not right, maybe I'm not saying that word right, but the tension here, it goes into our hands, right? So that's how the body will, if they get triggered here as well, right? So whenever someone tells us a word or we see something, remember the triggers come into every sense of us, like the seeing, the smelling, right? Hearing, tasting. So whenever we get triggered, the chest can get constricted, right? The anxiety, the anger, the frustration, the guilt, the shame, all of these, right? um, so you need to work on your body. What can you do on your body, with your body, right? Walking every day. If you don't exercise, if you exercise, great. Mwah. Good job. You can do singing loud. That helps a lot, right? When we sing, all the diaphragm, everything is working. So it releases whatever the tension is here and here. So if you drive, please sing with a very loud voice. Put on your favorite music. Or maybe you want to express your feelings when you drive. I sometimes do that, right? So I start to really be very like vocal, and start to express if I'm not happy with the situation, and I know that I cannot say that to the person in their eyes. Not all the time you can come to your boss, for example, and tell them that you're such a jerk. We cannot do that. But if something frustrates us, we cannot hold it in. It's going to show up. It's going to show up in 10 years, in 5 years, if you don't release it, right? Over exercising. Don't over exercise. If you are over exercising, right, then it means that you are holding so much in your mind, and you're trying to decompress it a little bit with over exercising. Exercising is great. Over exercising is not good, right? The same with meditations. 15-20 minutes a day is great. 2 hours, 3 hours of meditation, when you have so many other things, right, in your life, family, right, career, personal development, friends, community connections, right? This is too much. 3 hours. It's for people who actually go into that practice and they master it, and but if you are doing that, then maybe you're running away from something as well. So find that balance for yourself. Nothing in this life is permanent, and to heal the childhood trauma is to realize on the deepest level. I'm telling you right now, and you are listening with your subconscious mind right now, right? If you could close your eyes, I can even tell you that. Close your eyes and listen to my voice. My voice goes with you. My voice stays with you right now and is telling you the most important thing that you need to know regarding healing the childhood trauma. Nothing in this life is permanent, which means that the beliefs you formed, the pain that you have from the past, the neglect or the childhood wounds and the trauma, nothing is permanent, which means that your wounds, your trauma, your feelings, your past will never ever be permanent, which means that you can change it, because nothing in this world is permanent, but we believe it is. Until the age of 16, your subconscious mind believes that it's going to be like that forever. It believes that life is permanent. If I'm in pain right now, I'm going to be in pain all my life. It's going to be like that all the time. Nothing is going to change. There is no hope for me. But the mind of a 14 or a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old is a completely different mind from your mind right now. So with your closed eyes, you're listening to me. Nothing in this life is permanent, which means that you can heal anything, right? So no one can tell you what is going to happen to you. No one. Sometimes we believe, and some of it is true, that our destiny, our life is pre-written. It is. when we are ignorant. Remember, yes, our life is completely pre-written if we don't make any changes. We just go, like drift in life. It's called drifting, right? You just go with whatever, right? It's not with the flow. Please don't don't mix it. It's not going with the flow. It's like drifting. So never really learning about yourself, never really going inwards, just drifting, right? So that's the life is pre-written. Never tried hypnotherapy, and I'm a bit nervous too. Yeah, I will explain to you everything, absolutely everything, how it feels. Do you know how it feels? It feels when you are just before you go. Right, so it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours. The RTT session to resolve any issue is 2 hours, and then you get the recording to listen at home. It's your personalized custom meditation. Yeah, so it's 2 hours, but it's 15 minutes we're just talking, and it's about 1 hour and a half is the hypnotherapy session. Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. You're very aware, very aware. You're not asleep, not in a trance. RTT is not about that. I'm not there to give you just the suggestions. No, it's a temporary. It helps, by the way. If you ever been trying to hypnotherapy for stop smoking, losing weight, right? When it's just kind of suggestions, then it helps, but temporarily, or the issue goes and morphs into something else, right? So people stop smoking, start gaining weight, not because it's the connection, it's just because the problem morphs into something else all the time, right? If the root cause is not resolved. For example, you start to take medications for anxiety, and anxiety does kind of get lesser and lesser. You feel more content, you feel more relaxed, more calm, more aware, right? So that may help, absolutely. But at the same time, you will start feeling other symptoms, the numbing of the feelings, right? Inability to cry. There are some other side effects because the problem will try to morph into something else. Will always look for the way out. Always. No matter what you shut down, right? With stitches. You put the stitches, but the problem will still come out. So nothing in this life is permanent. Your next step is nothing in this life is permanent. Jalisa, I'll be happy to talk to you for sure. I'll explain to you everything, the process, how it goes, and what it is, and what can you get? What experiences you will experience so that you are not shocked or you're surprised, right? Yeah. So ask yourself another step in healing the childhood trauma. Ask yourself questions. One question, one most important question to ask yourself, because a lot of people are not ready. Not ready. They're not at the time. They're not there yet. So ask yourself, are you ready to heal the wounds? Right? And what will you do once you liberate yourself from the past? Very often people say, I don't know. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't know, Osho. I don't know. So when we when you ask yourself that question, remember that sometimes we live in the pain for 25, 35, 55, 60 years, and we don't know what that life is without that pain, without that maybe victimizing, maybe self-blame, self-guilt. We don't know, right? We don't know. So we cannot imagine that life. So we're a little bit scared because that life is unknown. And we may have a fear of unknown. A fear of unknown, right? So because you have never lived that life, that happy, joyful life, but you remember that on the subconscious level. You remember that. You can't even imagine how much you're unconscious, because you have subconscious mind and you have unconscious mind, which is these unknown deepest potential, and of course deepest pain as well. But it remembers a lot. It remembers those moments when you were happy. So when you want to heal childhood trauma, you already know what you want. You're still not aware of it. So usually ask yourself a question: am I ready to heal the past and step into the life that I want? Very often people say, I don't know what that life is. I just don't know. I've never been there. If it's true, right? If you are feeling that way, remember that you can, with the guidance, right? I always, with the guidance, you can build that picture. You can build that picture of that life, right? I wanna be calm and relaxed in every situation. I want to react to triggers with indifference. I want to be more understanding of people around me, right? Um, so also you can ask yourself, what will I be able to do once I don't have this problem? Once I'm not thinking about the past all the time, once I'm not in the pain every single day, not in depressed mood, what will I be able to do? There are so many things that you will come up with, because finally you can start having your childhood back. You cannot bring back the childhood, right? Sometimes we say, I lost my childhood to neglect. I didn't have a good childhood. You can have another childhood. You can bring it, you can create it for yourself, right? I have never been able to do things in childhood that I am able to do now and find a huge joy in it. You can create those memories from the childhood that you didn't have, you didn't create, you can create them now, right? So there is always a chance. Don't believe that everything is just in the past. It's done. You know, I've lost so much time. You never lose time. You experience. You live. Remember that, please, please. So ask yourself that question. So you have four steps in healing the childhood trauma. The first one is being curious and stop being afraid to look into the past, because it's going to give you the biggest answers. It's going to give you everything. It's going to explain everything that happens in your life, right? And the way, if you do it in the subconscious mind, for example, if I'm working with my clients on a subconscious level, right? I usually, hi Patricia, hi sweetheart, I didn't have a time to respond to you, but I will, but I will. So when you are looking into the past, you're looking at those events and you're changing the perception of your past events, right? You liberate yourself layer by layer. Don't be afraid to do that. That's step number one. Step number two, work on all levels. Yeah. Yeah. So work on all levels: body, mind, spirit, and environment, right? So work on all of those levels. Remember, healing takes time, right? Healing takes time. Nothing. Step number three, putting it on the mirror. This phrase, nothing is permanent. Even today, my husband was telling me that. I was upset because my son is sick, right? And I couldn't realize, what am I doing wrong, like whether I'm giving him the right care, and attention, right? Should I go to the hospital or not, right? And of course he feels better, but he told me nothing is permanent. Remember, nothing. And this shall pass as well. So, and the number four is, ask yourself a question. What am I going to do once I heal that? What am I going to do? Do I have that picture? Am I ready for that? Is it so unknown that maybe I'm so afraid of that unknown happiness, because I've never known that I'm actually blocking myself from healing? Have you ever thought about that? That we sometimes block ourselves because we are so afraid for that happiness and joy, because we believe that I don't deserve that. From childhood, again, another belief from childhood: I don't deserve happiness. When parents sometimes say, you have too much fun. You had too much fun, right? Go study. You had too much fun. And sometimes we start to live with that belief, and we kind of limiting ourselves, right? As well. So please, these four steps, you don't need, maybe there are so many other ways, and probably a lot of gurus and healers and psychologists and hypnotherapists will tell you so many other amazing things how to do that, right? You can nutritionist will tell you that you need to start from your body. Psychologists will need to start from therapy sessions, right? Hypnotherapist will tell you to start with hypnotherapy session, but in the end, right, the core is the same. You are able to do that for sure, depending on how much time you want to spend on that. I would always work on subconscious mind because it just helps me doing making it better, right? And RTT for me became the resolution for solution for almost everything, not everything, but for almost everything, right? All of my fears, panic attacks, depression, postpartum depression, all of that, right? Just resolved because of the RTT, because I was open to that type of therapy, right? And you can do as well. I have a course. I have a course that is 3-week course that you can do by yourself. Can you imagine if you work on all areas of your life in like half an hour a day? Half an hour a day, 10 minutes of lecture and 15 minutes of meditation, of self hypnosis meditation. You can actually test how your mind responds to meditations. Do you like it or not, right? So I have a course and it's in my links. You can watch the webinar, you can find out all about it, but it's an incredible, incredible course. There's 3-week, 18 classes, 18 days, right? But you can stretch it, where you can absolutely work on a lot of issues in your life. So that's also an option, right? Because we also want to test how is it to go inwards, right? And these courses, they help you discover yourself. And it's called You Are the Therapy, because you are the therapy. The therapy is in you, right? You can have a guide, like my voice can go with you, right, in those meditations. But the therapy is in you. The answers are in you, and the healer is in you. So I hope that makes sense. If you want me to make more about childhood trauma, about dissociation, borderline disorder, triggers, intimacy triggers, right? All of those things that are health, social anxiety, phobias, right? Complex post-traumatic disorder, stress disorder. So please tell me what you like to hear, and I will make a video about it, and I will make a live about it. But most of all, just remember that you are the healer. You are the therapy. Bye.